Hello and welcome to Transformation Now. Hi, I'm Rita Rocker, a speaker, author, and trainer with SoaringHigher.rocks. And my heart and passion is to help people with self-esteem, career development, professional image and business etiquette, and communication skills. So always trying to bring hope, help, humor, and heart to those listening, to those I speak to and that read my book. So today I have a very special guest. It's Schmieckley, and we're going to talk about take ownership of your life. Michael has quite an astounding bio, and actually he's a life and empowerment coach with Alchemy by Michael. And so I love the quote that he has on Facebook. I've altered it just a little bit because it wasn't Monday, but anyway, he said, that you can do anything, so stop doubting yourself, take the chance and do your best, because every day is a new day. And that is so true. Every day is a new day, a new week, a new year to propel yourself to success and happiness. So working with your life coach, and Michael is an astounding life coach, okay, you'll design a plan with step-by-step actions that will keep you moving forward without being overwhelmed. Because a lot of times I think we get overwhelmed and then we stop working on our plans, and he can really help to get you out of that overwhelmed state and be able to focus clearly on your goals. Now, for the 6th year now in a row, Michael is fulfilling his amazing life calling and is listed in the top 9 life coaching companies in Omaha, Nebraska, out of 111 companies by Expertise Magazine. So what happens is they've reviewed 111 companies of coaches, and then they curated 70 of those 111, and then they picked the top 9 out of that, and Michael happens to be one of them. So how they do this, because I thought this was fascinating, is they go into public databases, they do all this research all over the country, and then they look at the accreditations that the person has, and their awards, their licenses, and then they, as they put it, scour the public data and records and information for review and scoring. So they actually go through quite a lengthy process to narrow it down to what would be the top 9 people. And so think about that, and then they check service capabilities, and lastly, they do mystery shopping, because they want to know firsthand what the coach does without actually telling them they're checking on them. So I thought that was great. And so some of their areas of, that they research on is, first of all, their availability. Mm-hmm. How available are they? Because you don't want to contact someone that maybe you're going to have to spend well, we can get to you in 3 weeks from now or something like that. And he's a very busy coach, but a very hardworking coach. They also check out the qualifications. They check out the reputation of the coach, how much experience they have and what kind of experience, and then also their professionalism in general. And so it's very stringent process to go through to be qualified like this. So I just want to welcome Michael Schmieckley. You want to say hello before we get started?
Hi, good afternoon to everybody out there. Pleasure seeing you.
Thank you. So we have a great program for you today. We talked about metamorphosis. That's a word that means so much to me. And it means a striking change in appearance, character, or circumstances, usually by supernatural means, which in my book is God himself. Now, what I think of is the process that it goes through, because we go through some really tough, painful processes in life to transform our lives, especially if we've had a very, very rough life like Michael and I have both had. And so after the caterpillar is full grown and stops eating, that's when that transformation starts. And so it's either suspended, hidden, or buried in the ground. Now, how many times do we feel like we're either suspended in space, like, where am I gonna go? Or, maybe we go hide ourselves away because we don't know how to handle it. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes we literally feel like we've been buried almost because we have maybe lost friends, lost family, and you suffered a huge loss with the loss of your wife. Yes. And so a lot of times we feel that way, and it's so painful to try to get out of. But I want you to think about this caterpillar, and Michael has a lot of good information on that. And so what happens then is they're in that state, it says between 5 and 21 days, but like about day 10 of this process, which in our personal lives lasts a lot longer, they actually liquefy to a big mass of goo. It's just ugly goo. And you think, well, how is this chrysalis full of ugly glue going to ever transform into the beautiful butterfly? Because a lot of times our lives feel like, oh my gosh, I do just feel like a big blob of goo.
Yes.
I don't see anything, nobody sees me, it's very painful. And that's about day 10. But what happens during this time is there's a lining inside the chrysalis. So even though it looks like a mass of ugly goo, inside that lining are the feelers, the eyes, the legs, the wings. So everything that creates this beautiful butterfly is already there. It's just going through a process.
Yes.
And so many times we go through a very painful process like this, and we have to go through it in order to strengthen our wings, our arms, our minds, just like this butterfly.
Yes, very true.
And that's why I love them so much. It's not like flight muscle and reproductive tissue, it calls it matures. And so that's what we're doing. That process can be very painful, very lonely, very hard, but look at the transformation.
Yes.
You have beautiful, strong butterflies that, they beautify the world and go from the plants, so it's really neat. But if you look at one inside, the head has disappeared. The eye tissue remains to become eyes. The little gold spots are actually ports of entry for oxygen, life-giving oxygen. So all of those things matter, but it's all needed to take place and come from that first to transform into a pile of goo, which is no fun, but then to go through the process, like we're going to talk about today, is all the things you need to do to recreate your life, and then be able to pull them out of that lining like we do and move forward. So, and then just the last thing before we get started, I noticed too that they often, while they're in this process, suffer attacks from ants, spiders, and other predators, while the eggs are going into process or as they become butterflies. So we, a lot of times, feel like we suffer the same attacks lots of times from many different areas, just like that butterfly. But as long as we stay strong, we do the transformations that we need to do and hold tight, we can secure ourselves from those other predators. So I love that. Did you have any comments before we get started on the you're the boss question?
Well, actually, I want to, I've wrote a little bit of notes here. To continue on with you're talking about the butterfly. To cross over from the land of transformation, remember to be gentle with thyself.
Yes.
As we go through the life as a caterpillar, it is time, until it's time, to cocoon oneself with the fires of adversity, the discomfort of growth, and over time to become that butterfly through the transformation of oneself. Remember to renew, recreate, and restore. Walk through in a purpose of belief with the faith that you are and can be whatever you put your mind to. As that little nagging voice that's within one's mind and self-doubting can be put to rest. As we continue walking upon our paths of opportunity.
And that is so good, and that's so amazing. And really, we have to enlarge our boundaries. We keep doing that as we're walking through this path.
Yes.
That's a lot of obstacles. A lot of times they're thrown in the way of the path, but we have to keep kicking them out of the way. And so we talked about you're the boss, walking out your life and career. And that's kind of what you just said about making those choices to recreate. We have to go forward, because if we just sit there and wish for things to happen, guess what? They don't happen. What the mind thinks, that's what we receive. So
yes,
he who aims at nothing shall surely hit it every time.
That is true. That is true. If you don't make we all know where New York City is, but without a map, you really have no clue how to get up there, how to drive, how to fly, whatever it may be. That's what life is about. We need to have some type of roadmap to your success with a plan of action. Believe with a childlike faith, and receive in divine timing. that's a manifestation opportunity that is best using in your life. That's what life coaches and many other type of mentors out there can do to helping individuals like you and you out there in the audience.
Absolutely, and we are the boss, you know, because we can let life happen, or we can actually get in there. And I'm working on some things now myself. Again, like, wait a second, I don't have to let life get in the way and tell me what to do, life lead me in a certain direction I don't want to go, but I have to stop. And, you know, Michael gave me homework this last week to do, as he's working with me as well. And there are so many things on that wheel, so to speak, and then some things to look at, and that is powerful homework, because it makes us stop and think. You know, so many times it's like, oh, well, maybe I need to go to school, and that's it. Well, what do I need to do? Well, we don't know. Or maybe I need to change a relationship, which I've talked about a lot. There are certain relationships we need to get out of, possibly. It may be that we are meant to move to a different city. There are a lot of things that scare us. And so we just think, well, okay, let's see what life brings today. And we never get to that goal. And I know with what you're doing with me and so many people, and even internationally in other countries, Michael's working with people who are he's setting goals, but helping you do it in a restful manner, so you're not in a panic, thinking, oh my gosh, I got to do all this stuff. And so, you know, you take one step at a time, and you start off with what number from 1 to 10. Where are you at the moment? And so you can start literally thinking, oh my gosh, this is an area that I hadn't really thought about, but it's an area that really needs some work on it if I want to be happy, if I want to have the kind of relationships and career. And I always incorporate who we are inside with our career and our relationships, because, you know, sometimes if you're working with companies, it's all about corporate, it's all about companies. Well, it's all about the people that are doing the work too.
That is true.
And so, you know, when you're the boss, you're walking that out. And you know, the thoughts about enlarging your boundary. I know you're helping me enlarge my boundaries. Do you have any thoughts on that as we're working through that?
Well, actually, yes. By being the boss, it's best to take ownership of your own life.
Yes.
Too many of us let others dictate on what we want to do and help, and then guide what they want out of us. Instead of actually working with in combination of a partnership of creating the opportunity. But the thing about it, if you don't take ownership of yourself, you're going to be not where you want to be. And I wrote down a couple notes here. By taking ownership of your life, build a game plan of success with a plan of action to create the best version of yourself. You owe it to yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, a lot of times, and I've talked about this before, living vicariously through someone else. Like I've seen sometimes a parent, maybe they wanted to be a football star, and they didn't make it. And so a son, for instance, loves technology, loves music, but is kind of forced to go into an area they don't want to be in. They're not living their lives. Someone else is trying to live vicariously through them to experience what they didn't get to experience growing up. And I've seen that a lot too. And so we have to be so careful and realize, hey, I am the boss of my life. Yes, other people's lives matter. My family matters. I can't just go off on my own and not actually consider their needs. But there again, we have to decide, okay, what do I need? Do I need to say no to some things in order to have the time to sit down and do homework and be able to make plans, establish plans?
Yeah, like to have that opportunity, we need to, it's okay to be a tradesman. It's okay to be going forward with different parts of your life. It's to be able to, like many of us who are empathic, we feel that pressure from others around us. But it is healthy to have those boundaries. It's okay to say no.
Yes.
It took me years to figure that out.
Me too.
And it feels so empowering for myself. It's empowering for others to be able to take ownership of your own self. Because there is so much abundance in this beautiful world. The opportunities that you can grow and become is mind-blowing.
Yes.
And it's awe-inspiring. I love it.
Yes, and that is so important because so many times maybe we don't want to hurt someone's feelings. We want everybody to
Yes.
like us. And so we have to go be a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And, to a point that's good, but then when it's actually, okay, I hate to say the word messing up, but when when it's hurting our lives, then
Yes.
it is important to say no. And so a lot of times we just have to speak up and not be afraid
Yes.
of what somebody else is going to feel about us because it's our life.
Yes.
And so there was one thing that my pastor, Zach from King of Kings, had said at church Sunday, and he was talking about the quest for life. And we all have a quest for life. And some of us let other people create our quest for life, or we're afraid, or think, I can't do this because I don't have the education, I don't have the money, I don't have the clothes, or we come up with all kinds of reasons why we can't really go on that quest for life and be the successful person that we want. And he talked about, and we'll talk about this more in a minute, first you have to prepare, because it's easy just to sit and not prepare or do anything because we're afraid to, we don't know where to go. Someone like Michael, he's a perfect example of having he helps you prepare and see the steps that maybe you're not seeing. Create your life plan. Now, a lot of times I didn't really create my life plan. I let life happen to me. Yes. And it's not a good plan. So, he'll help you create your life plan going forward, because what interests you? Not what interests someone else, what interests you? Because that's where you're going to be the most skilled and really shine. I mean, just really glow. I have a friend whose grandson has gone into real estate, but when he first started making phone calls to a real estate company, he wasn't old enough to get his license. He's going to college. But when I talked to him and said, hey, how are you doing with that? And he goes, oh, I love it, and blah, blah, blah. And he lit up. And I said, oh my gosh, you just lit up. You totally lit up. That tells me right there, this is exactly what you're called to do.
Awesome,
you're not going, oh, well, I have to take these classes and I hate making phone calls. He just lit up like a Christmas tree, and I thought,
awesome.
You got it. That's exactly what you're called to do. So, he was talking about creating your life plan and studying. Some things, a lot of times maybe we're afraid or we don't know, what should I study? Well, study what you love, what you want to go forward. But we do have to take time to study. Learn new skills,
Yes.
Learn what it's all about, what other people feel about the different areas that we're in. And then endurance, sometimes it's like, well, why isn't this happening by next week? Well, you and I both have endured a lot, waiting for years for things to happen. So endurance, he started off with, what's your purpose in life? Which Michael's going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. And practice, it's like, we do have to practice life skills, career skills. We have to rehearse and go forward. Any successful sports figure or actor, actress, or someone they rehearse.
Correct.
A lot till they get it right. And,
correct.
You can think of a lot of inventors that actually you kind of think of that as rehearsing. But God, what do you want me to do today? And everybody has a different way of doing it. But for me, it's God, what do you want me to do today? What would make you happy? Because that's where I know my strength's coming from. That's the direction. If I trust him to lead me in that direction, I know it'll be right and it'll be successful instead of just flying off at something. So what do you want me to do today? And then just lean into him. And one of the things that I loved was he said, it's a season, not a permanent place to stay.
Correct.
Okay, do you want to address that, especially that last comment?
Well, going through life itself, we have to be able to explore and try new things in life.
Yes.
We're meant to gain knowledge and experience. It's what we're here to do.
Yes.
Knowledge, when we gain it, it's not always the same timing for it when we gain it. It may be later in life when you actually apply it. Because we all have heard the saying before, knowledge is power.
Yes.
But the true part of that saying is always forgotten. Applied knowledge is a true power. So as you go through life trying different things out there, I've worn many hats over the years from restaurant industry to artist to life coaching to security. I've worn so many hats in farming ranch and all that stuff. So we have to be able to have that flexibility of life and have that invigorating opportunity to step out of our comfort zone.
Yes.
Because, yes, it's nice to sit in this nice, cozy little chairs, but we want to be able to be a little bit of discomfort to find a new comfort of life. We don't always need to have that security blanket to wrap us around.
Yes.
But it is best to able to explore, have the adventure, and go live the life.
And that's so true. And we do want variety, which what you said kind of makes me think, not be stuck in just one little spot. Because even as Pastor Zach said, he said, I'm a pastor. I'm a part-time pastor. I mean, this man is phenomenal. But he also says, I'm an entrepreneur. My wife and I have a business. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. And he said, he was trying to get us to realize there are several parts to us.
Yes. Yes.
And yes, we need our career. We need to focus on where we're best, obviously, to have the biggest anointing. But to also, I tell people too, sometimes it's good maybe every week, especially if your budget is tight and you can't go take classes, so to speak, is get online and study the topic. There's millions of topics. Study the topic that you're going for, that you want in your career, in your professional life, because that's very important to keep studying, keep learning. But then also, I said, go watch something fun, something you enjoy, bring up some music or dancing or a fun hobby, and take some time to do that too.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's good to have that mental relaxation to be able to go to the play, go to the sports, play a video game, something that relaxes the mind so you can refocus and continue working your game plan of success.
Yes, and it says if we don't rest, we have no energy for anybody else either besides ourselves. And of course, learned that the hard way. but the topic of even walk through, I am there, and taking ownership of your life. What would you say with that?
To be able to go through that, a lot of things that happen in life. We have a lot of friends, family, strangers, people that come into our life. Some are there to benefit with you during the time period, maybe later down in life, but there's always a chance to gain knowledge and experience throughout this lifetime. But anything that's holding you back, blocking you, draining you, and limiting you, it's good to release and let that go from your life. As givers, we must be receivers. As receivers, we must be givers at the infinite loop of life. Those that take, love them at a distance. You don't need to have them be part of the sequence of your life.
Did you hear that? You want to repeat that, please?
It's especially for us empaths. We love to give, but to be able to give and receive, to receive and also give, that is the infinity of loop of life. It is okay to do this, and it is good and healthy.
Yes.
Those who do take, unfortunately, we all have many friends and family that we have in our lives at times. Love them, but love them at a distance. You don't want them to drain you, limit you, block you, or, you want to be able to have that peace, harmony, love, and light to be part of your awareness, to be part of your life that you're creating.
That's good. And when you were talking, I was almost like I could see in my brain a big pot. It's your life's pot.
Yes.
And all the things that you put into that pot that are for you, your education, the type of friends, family, etc. But it was kind of like I saw someone else in the life that you said keep at a distance, trying to throw their life issues into your pot and stir them around. And it's like, this is kind of a jumbled up stew. This isn't my life. So I don't know. I just saw that and I thought it was kind of funny.
Well, and to piggyback on that aspect, yes, we do have friends and family that's part of our life. We care deeply for them. But unfortunately, when they add too much informational energy, of emotion energy onto our lives, we care so deeply for them. But yet, when they use the term diarrhea of the mouth aspect of too much information, it bogs us down. And that emotions, sometimes we react to their emotions that they've given us for the exchange of energy. So when you're going through life, that its aspect is you may be lashing out and triggering by something else. It might not be your energy. It might not be yours.
Good
You
point.
got to have to release and let that go to be able to go out in nature, go somewhere that you feel comfortable, safe, a sanctuary, a home that you have that is yours, that you can be part of.
Absolutely, and that is so true. Getting out, getting away from it, separating, getting time to think. And one of the things, and I have like 1 minute left, one of the things that I think is so important that I tell people when they look at the leadership guides that I have connected with my books, for instance, is please don't answer these or write your thoughts down on the computer.
Correct. Correct.
Get where it's quiet, even if you have to lock yourself in your car or your bathroom, and have a notebook and a pen so you can clearly think, you're not distracted by other things, and you can just let your mind go and think about these things and then write them down so you remember them. And we're just about ready to break, so this take ownership of your life is what we're talking about today with Michael Schmieckley. Do you want to just tell people how to get a hold of you so you can help them get through their transformation, their metamorphosis?
Well, be under lifealchemybymichael.com. And I want to give a quick few words on this, okay? By taking ownership of your life, most people begin their life as a career or job at the hourly wage. They get stuck in the mindset that she or he is what it's worth. You're worth so much more. Do your research and find out which life coaches that you resonate with and make the most of your life.
Amen to that, and that is so true. So I'd recommend that you check him out and check out his website and give him a call, and we're so happy to have you join us today. Look forward to speaking with you next time. Again, it's always on transformation and growth.
Yes.
So God bless. See you later.